On this episode of Delivering Marketing Joy, we talk with Catherine Graham from Commonsku about how process can help you build and scale your business. Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hassman, and joining me today is a repeat guest, a rock star, someone I really admire. Really excited to welcome the CEO of Commonsku, Catherine Graham, back to Delivering Marketing Joy. Catherine, thanks so much for joining me.
Kirby, it is awesome to be back.
Cool. So I want to jump right into a topic that you discussed recently at SKU Camp. It's, we're all looking to hire superstars, right? We want to have great people on the team. So what are some keys to hiring great people?
So it all starts with framing what it is that you need in the first place, and understanding based on that, what it is that the skill set is, or the personality, or what it is the motivation is that drives someone that's going to be a good fit for what that need is. So if you can start from that kind of needs-based analysis to begin with, and frame that in such a way in the job posting, you're far more likely to attract kind of the right kind of person into the role. So it's really that upfront legwork that can pay dividends in making sure that you're interviewing the right people to begin with.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned in your talk was that, you can actually write a fun job posting and actually show some personality. I thought that was funny because I'm like, oh yeah, people don't do that.
Well, so many job postings are so boring, right? It's like you're falling asleep reading them. It's like, why would I want to work for a company where I'm falling asleep reading the job description?
Yeah, no, I thought that was great. It totally hit home for me. I'm like, oh yeah, we actually have personality. We should show it.
Yeah. And right? We're a fun industry too.
Yeah, right, totally. So one of the things I think I know about you is it seems like you're very process driven in your business approach. So why is that? Why do you think process is important for business success?
Two things. I think that it gives the team kind of a roadmap to follow, and it allows you to kind of push decision-making and accountability down into the organization. If everyone understands kind of what the guardrails are that they are to operate within, and they understand how to handle different situations, then it's really empowering them to be able to make decisions and not have to always kind of rely on you. And the second piece of it that is really important for growth is that ultimately you can't scale without process. So being able to kind of have done the thinking and the legwork around that ultimately enables you to plug new people into the equation as you go along, and gives them kind of that guardrail and process to be able to follow and replicate.
Yeah, it's the thing I think at least I struggle with, I'll be the first to admit, but I think a lot of entrepreneurs do, right? It's like you have to have the process, otherwise you have to do every single thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you are leading an organization that many people in our industry, me included, admire. It's also, I think you guys are innovative, right? So as a leader, how do you kind of keep people excited on day-to-day stuff and still keep the innovation rolling?
I think there's the train in Coshocton.
So the way we schedule it, Catherine, is when I'm doing live interviews is when they go ahead and come through. So I appreciate their timeliness.
That's good character. It's the Coshocton flavor,
Yeah, absolutely. So funny.
In terms of keeping people kind of engaged and excited, I think that a lot of it relates to ensuring that everyone understands what the mission is that you're trying to accomplish. And if you can keep kind of injecting that back into the conversation day to day, and I think about, from a Commonsku perspective, that we are really driven by being able to, empower entrepreneurs to run better businesses. And when we hear success stories coming out of that, of how it is that, the software, the platform has ultimately transformed, the way a business operates, or has allowed, a business to grow or to do more, with the existing infrastructure they have, that sharing those success stories back within the team kind of continually connects the dots to what it is that the mission is that we're on in the first place, and really keeps that excitement going. I think the other piece of it is also just making sure that you keep it fun. Like ultimately, we're in a fun industry. We do fun things as work, and to not take ourselves too seriously from that perspective. perspective. So, there's a lot of joking in the office and a lot of making fun of each other. And so kind of, keeping that self-deprecating humor, I think is ultimately does a lot to just make sure that coming into work every day remains fun.
No, that's really cool. So do you mind if I ask you one more question?
Go for it.
Okay, so one of the things that you and I have been face-to-face and talked about this in the past, it's like, I think you and your husband work together, you and Mark, and you have said to me that, like, Mark's thinking 2 years in advance. How is it that you, and I'm asking for my wife.
Amy, this one's for you.
Yeah, right? How is it that you kind of sift through his ideas and then go, ooh, that one actually matches with where we could go, and then yet keep on task? How do you kind of balance that?
So Mark has what I call a repetitive strategy. He figures that if he asks me or bugs me about an idea over and over and over again, that he'll eventually wear me down. But he's in fact wrong in that, because ultimately what it comes down to is it's a cost-benefit analysis. Ultimately, you only have, within the, time, resource, money equation, you only have so much of each. And ultimately ensuring that you have the discipline to be able to stay focused on what it is that is the most important thing to be doing right now, and to make sure that any kind of analysis that you're doing around other opportunities is balanced out with that in that equation of, if we choose to do this, we're going to have to not do that. And so looking at the trade-offs that there are around it, and ultimately it might be the right decision to stop doing what we're doing here and introduce something new. But it's being thoughtful about that process, as opposed to being kind of the in the moment of getting excited about something, and because you're excited, just going ahead and doing it. Yeah, the squirrel.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I was asking for a friend. No, that's great. That's really great. Well, you've answered my questions. I give everybody a chance to ask me a question. Do you have one for me?
I do have a question for you.
Okay.
So it is U.S. Thanksgiving coming up next week, and I am curious to know as to what it is that you are most grateful for right now in your life.
That is a fantastic question. So, what's interesting is I actually, one of the things I try to be consistent about is sort of do a great gratitude exercise. So as you might expect, number one is sort of my wife and my kids. Both, not only do I actually like them, but they are healthy and relatively happy, and that's number one. Certainly, the team here, like they make me look good on a regular basis, and I recognize that. So I'm grateful for that. And then just sort of the industry would pop into my head, and then health. Like, I've been pretty lucky in that way. And, it's so funny because I think in the day-to-day kind of whirlwind of an entrepreneur's life, a salesperson's life, it's really easy to lose track of your day within the first 60 seconds.
Yes.
Like, I mean, like literally when I say first 60 seconds, I mean when you wake up. Like literally laying there in bed, because so many people wake up thinking about yesterday. And they spend their whole life worried about either yesterday or tomorrow, and they lose sight of today. And it's a thing that I really am. I don't get it right all the time, but I'm very intentional about. And so it's a great question, and one that I think we all ought to ask ourselves on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Catherine. I'm also grateful for you and for you doing this, and we'll have to do it again, okay?
It's always a pleasure.
Cool. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.